I did in the beginning of this video where I'm like posing and like showing off the hairstyle with like music and how to do this hairstyle that I've been wearing lately because many people, actually only a few of you, requested it, and I've never done a hair tutorial before and I wanted to challenge myself. So I hope you enjoy this video, and if you want to learn how to do this hairstyle, I hope that this tutorial is clear enough for you to understand so that you can do it yourself or on a friend or on a grandparent. I mean, a grandparent could totally wear this. If you want to learn how to do this half up, half down Dutch braid hair style that I've been wearing lately, please keep on watching. As you can tell, I already did one side to save on time, but with the braid, you can either start by doing the braid or you can curl the whole entire thing and then do the braid afterwards. It's entirely up to you. Today for this one side, I already had curled my hair and then I did the braid, which I had never done before, and it really doesn't make a difference whatsoever. It's entirely up to you. But I think for the sake of this video, I'm going to braid it first and then go in with the curling iron. I like to use this black rat tail comb to part it and to separate the braid. And usually it's about like an inch. I go straight back. I used to kind of do like at an angle, but I really didn't like that. I don't like to end it too far back because then from the back it looks really, really weird and your part is super defined and like pulled because it's in the braid. So I don't like it to go back too far. I'm gonna match it up with this other one. I want to completely separate everything because I don't want to get any other hair that's not supposed to be in the braid by accident. Stay separately from everything else. Starting the braid off, I use a really, really tiny section and I section it off in 3 pieces. And this is what I do. I braid underneath, and then before I grab more hair, I do it one more time. And now with this other piece, I'm gonna grab another piece of hair closest to this side. And then I'll grab another piece of hair closest to this side to my left side, but for you it looks like the right. You get any other pieces out of the way. You braid underneath. That's what a Dutch braid is. If you didn't know, you probably know, but if you didn't know, that's what it is. I don't like the French braids because I feel like it's too flat, and I like how the Dutch braid is like pluffed up. I just keep on going until I'm out of hair. And sometimes I'll grab hair from pieces that are already in the braid, if that makes sense. If it's not too like far. If it was just from a piece that I just did, but I did a little too close to the other side, if that makes sense, then I grab it and then add it to the correct side. Some strands of the braids are really thick. Like for example, this one is so thick compared to these two. So what I like to do is I like to skimp on this one for the rest of the braid and then make sure I get enough for the other 2 strands. And sometimes I take some strands out of the thick one. And as I'm braiding, I like to pull it tight because I don't want it to be loose. I want it to be really, really neat and clean because I want the rest of my hair to be kind of messy. Not too messy, but I like when it's kind of like unkempt in a way. And then the braid is like super clean and tight. Once I get to the end and there's no more to add into the Dutch braid, I like to braid it just a little further, like off of my scalp, so that it makes it easier to put the elastic around. I like to use these really, really tiny black ones that are just simple and clean and you can barely see. And then I kind of like to bring it towards the front a little to the side so you can see it more. You know what I mean? So where it like stands out. Now we can take this out since we don't need to section it anymore. I like to section, well, we do need to section it still. I like to section it off when I curl it because I feel like it just makes it easier, and I feel like it also makes it a little quicker. I like to section it off below my ear, not above or anything like that, because then we get to this hair and then I feel like it just gets like complicated. We're gonna do it like this. This is gonna be so fun. Very, very excited. I love it. I like to use a 1-inch curling iron, and I take off the clamp because it's just annoying and I feel like it doesn't curl as well with the clamp on, even if you unclamp it or it's like still on there, but you like hold it up where it's like perched up, and then you curl your hair underneath. I feel like it just gets caught and it takes longer. I just unscrewed it. I think this tip is from Candy Johnson actually. Now you have a curling wand rather than, well, it's the same thing. But you have a curling wand that you can make beach waves out of without having to buy a specific one. And then you can always attach that attachment back on later on if you want to. This one is covered in product because I would curl my hair one day and then hairspray it, and then the next day I would curl it again. And then this is dried on hairspray, not dried on, it's fried on hairspray. This curling iron goes up to 430 degrees Fahrenheit, and I like to turn it on the highest heat because then I don't leave my hair on that long. I don't think that it's any better for it, but I like to do that because it just saves on time. I don't use a heat protectant or anything like that. I probably should, but I don't know. I feel like it's just more products. I wonder if there's like a natural remedy for heat protectants, like your own way of making it, a DIY. This first layer, I divided it in 2 sections. I don't want it to be thin because then I feel like the hair gets messier, and it curls just as well if you use bigger sections, at least for me, especially at 430 degrees Fahrenheit, and it makes it quicker. For the bottom layers, I like to curl it all the way up to the root because then it has more volume. Where you don't really curl it, it's going to not have as much volume. So I don't like to curl it that much at the ends because I don't want the ends to be like very, very voluminous, and then the rest of it to not be so voluminous. I can't talk. I kind of like to go back and forth. I think I learned this from Katrina from Tone It Up. This is what she does, and I've been like envious of her hair for so long. I take this off completely, and then I let the rest sit for a little bit, and then I lightly take it off. Sometimes I'll just kind of like mess with it. This will give it more volume if you take it and straighten it, and then you push it up a bit. And you can hairspray it like that, and that'll add a lot of volume. I'm not gonna go above my ear yet. Still gonna do another section slightly aligned with it. And again, with this layer, I'm going to separate it in 2 pieces and curl all the way up to the scalp. My scalp. This is in the way. Well, this is not a beauty guru, clearly. Sometimes I'll hairspray it along the way, and sometimes I'll just do it afterwards. It really depends what I want to do, if I really want them to stay in, but I kind of want them to loosen up. So I'm not going to hairspray them right off the bat separately. And sometimes if I curl it too much, I will hairspray it immediately, and I'll just straighten it. Ew, hairspray is getting on the walls now. And it just takes out the curl, makes it less intense. Now I'm gonna go a little above the ear, and I'm probably gonna break this one up into like 3 or 4 sections. I used to do like smaller sections, and it would take forever. I feel like this is just as effective. I mean, if you want your hair to be really, really big and voluminous, then do smaller sections. And you also want to do the trick where you pull that strand that you just curled all the way out, straight out, and then you push like the outer sections of that up. And then you hairspray it, and you kind of keep doing that, and then it adds texture and volume to the section. You want to be really, really careful on the ends, especially if the ends are thinner. You don't want to leave it on the curling wand very, very long because it's going to curl more easily because there's less hair. You don't want the ends to be wavy, curly at all. You want them to be more on the straight side, but not like stick straight. And as you can tell, I like to curl away from my face. Sometimes I'll mix it up where I will do each section differently so that they don't blend as well. But especially around my face, even when I do that technique, I like to curl it away from my face. See, like this section right here is a little too curled for my liking. Ew, where it's like stick straight. I might go back in, just do this little part. Take it off. Actually, I kind of like that. And then this is way too like curled and not waved. Pull it straight, then I hairspray that bit, and then I hold it. And that fixed it. We're almost done with these layers, and then we can get to like the fun part, which is the little pigtail and the teasing and the shaping. This is like probably one of my favorite parts of doing this tutorial, is making my hair look really, really weird. the part that I didn't curl, like alien-esque. Because everyone says I look like an alien, and I love that. So I want to emphasize it even more. And then as I get to these sections that are closer to the top of my head, I don't curl all the way up to the root because then it's going to add more volume, which I don't really want right now. That's not the look I'm going for. Some pieces that are closer to the top of my head will be curled all the way up to my scalp, but it's rare because I don't want that many pieces. And then they don't blend as well together, which is what I want. But I also want them to blend a little together. I don't know. I'm just all over the place. I always mix it up each time and just go back and fix it. So it's just a very forgiving hairstyle. Look at that piece right there. That's like way too curled because it's like a shorter strand of hair within a section. Yeah, I feel like that's too much. Do that. Get a little volume and straighten it. Ew. That's one thing. I don't want it to be like where it's like wavy right here and then it's more of a pronounced curl at the bottom. I want that to go the other way around. I want it to be more pronounced towards the top and then wavy at the bottom. Also, when I take these end bits off the heat, I like to hold them straight so that the curl kind of loosens. And by the way, I'm using this John Masters hairspray. It's vegan and it's cruelty free and it's organic. We don't want pesticides being sprayed that we breathe in, we put on our hair, which isn't as big of a deal. But if it gets on our scalp, then it's going to get absorbed into our bloodstream by our brain. Ew. So it's good that it's organic. I love how I said I'm not gonna spray along the way for this, but I have been. Even though we're at the very top layer and I don't like to curl right up to my scalp, I'm going to do that for this section back here because I want a lot of volume. What if this turns into like that video where that girl was like curling her hair and then that whole entire strand like broke off of her scalp? Now we have to do my all-time favorite part. And with this, I like to separate it in smaller sections because I want more volume. And I always curl these away from my face because I want them all kind of like flowing together for the little pigtail. The difference in size. Oh wow, I don't like that. I like this side better. In that case, I'm going to fix it so that it matches up with this side, because this side is like straighter and this one's like wavier all the way. Leave these out of the crime scene. Now I'm going to section it off again, but this time I'm going to tease it a bit for volume at the roots. You could definitely leave it as is because it's just a fun, messy, unkempt hairstyle because you have the braids perfected. So you can leave it as is with the waves and the curls, or you can go back in on the other side or whatever you want to do and just perfect it. Ooh. I also like to slightly tease the pigtail so it has a little more volume as well. Not too much though, because that you can kind of see a lot better than the sections because it moves all around, you know what I mean? And that is how you do my recent hairstyle that I've been obsessed with, because it's half up, half down, and I really like the fact that I can still do the braids, which I love, but I can also have my hair down, but also it makes it a lot easier for me to have my hair down because I get really, really fussy with the part. If it's too flat or if it's too up and the way that it's shaped, and it just looks weird because I have a really weird shaped face. This hairstyle just really helps me, and it's fun and it's out of my face, but I can still have my hair down. So if you like this video, let me know. If you try out this tutorial, let me know in the comments, or let me know on Instagram or Twitter or Snapchat, which is basically dead, but I still go on there. And also, if you want to see any other videos from me, let me know in the comments, because like I said, you guys requested this one and I made a video. This was my first. I feel like my bra is coming off. No, it's not. This why do I feel like that? It's like fully on. Another thing that I love doing when I make my hair all wavy to make it more relaxed, I spray it with rose water or any kind of face toner, or even just like a water mist, but rose water is just fun. And it relaxes it and it makes it less pronounced and less like so much.